Hi folks, hope you're okay today. Love to everybody out there. We're looking at the parable of the prodigal son, Luke 15:11-32, and he said there was a man who had 2 sons, etc. Then it said, but when he came to himself, he said, how many fathers' hired servants have more than enough bread, but I perish here with hunger? I will arise and go to my father and say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Treat me as one of your hired servants. And he arose and came to his father, but while he was still a long way off, his father saw him, felt compassion, and ran and embraced him, and kissed him. And the son said to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. But the father said to his servants, bring quickly the best robe and put it on him, put a ring on his hand and shoes on his feet, and bring the fatted calf and kill it, and let us eat and celebrate. For this my son was dead and is alive again, he was lost and is found. And they began to celebrate. There's a story of a biker, and this biker at 12 years of age, he was so angry with the world and people around him. At 12 he had the swear word F-U-C-K typed on it, tattooed on this hand, and Y-O-U on here. And at 12 years of age he would walk around like that, and he basically, that was his message to the world. As he grew up, he became a biker. He had the leathers on, the chains, and nobody really wanted to know him. People walked on the other side of the street because he was a tough guy. Meanwhile, in a church there was a little old lady called Betsy, and this little old lady lost her husband, but she had the sweetness of Christ. She had the love of God in her, and she really cared about people, and she was always happy in God. But one day this biker had someone challenge him to go to the church as a kind of joke, but they really felt that this guy needed to go to church. So the biker went to the church, and he sat down at the back of the church, and lo and behold, he was sat next to Betsy. Betsy put her hand on his shoulder and said to him, it's nice to meet you. And something like, it's good to have you here. With those words, this biker broke down in tears. He'd never had anybody say anything like that to him. People had avoided him. And before he even got to the meeting and heard the message, God began to deal with him. She said, oh, have I upset you? But he kept crying, and that day he gave his heart to the Lord. The point of the story is this, is how do we treat people in church? When people come into church who don't know anything about God, or who've strayed off the path, do we treat them like Betsy? And if we do treat them like Betsy, the Lord can take that and use it to minister to people, the grace of God.